Hello and welcome to a color reading for August people to see how your June 2026 will progress. This is Karen's Colors and I'm Dr. Karen. The colors that we looked at for May 2026 showed that there were a number of difficulties that we had to negotiate throughout that month. And if your month went smoothly, then wonderful for you. On the other hand, if it was a bit rough, let's see what June will bring for you, shall we? For myself, it started off smoothly enough and then gradually progressed further and further into the period in which I really started to reevaluate these readings. Are they, in fact, even valuable to people? I don't get much feedback, but if you're planning on making such feedback, please feel free. I'd like to hear from you. If you're new here, of course, you'd probably be a little confused. My color readings are not all love and light and wishful thinking. I read the colors as they turn out. And if that's something that doesn't appeal to you, then perhaps a tarot reader might be more your style. So I guess we need to get started. Let's now look for some colors for people born in August to examine how their June will pan out. All right, I want a combination for the strength for people in August, and we have brown on green. And what obstacle are they likely to face? And we have blue on brown, and an underlying energy that will support you throughout the month of June. And we have orange on cyan. Okay. Very well then. Brown on green. Green as the driver, the motivator for this particular strength is all about a desire for something new. Are you bored with what you've been dealing with in the past? Is there something that you are looking forward to, something that you want to take a chance on? Green is not only looking for new opportunities, but it's also being ready to jump at them when they arrive. And brown in the real world comes through as being able to take those opportunities and run with them. Once an opportunity arises in the real world, you can turn that into some sort of motivation and develop the skills that are necessary in order for you to obtain whatever it is that you are looking for in the internal world. So your values are something that are being challenged here. And in the real world, we're being challenged to do something about those values, do something that will lead you towards a brighter future, for example. Now, the obstacle here is an interesting one because that very same energy, that brown energy here that enables you to become practical and to develop some sort of goal orientation that leads you towards a particular thing that you want to establish for yourself, now is something that internally, I don't know if the brown is really very good there. I'm not turn it over and see if it's any better. Yeah, you can see that better. The brown internally here gives us a lack. So why here you have the ability to create a goal, here it's the need for a goal that is a problem. What is it about creating something that you want and desire for yourself that is so problematic? In the real world, that problem comes through as being held up by the fact that you have responsibilities, you have duties. You can't just take off on a mission that will enable you to obtain something for yourself because you are being held back from that mission by this necessary duty comes from your past, from the things that you already have established within your life. Now, the underlying energy here is orange on cyan. Cyan is a search for bliss, for harmony, for contentment. This tends to suggest there is a degree of dissatisfaction, as does this. If you're looking for new pastures, it's because you're not happy with what you've got. If you are having trouble making goals, setting goals for yourself, then that's because in the real world, you have responsibilities you need to undertake. Nevertheless, things in the internal world aren't all that unhappy for you. The driver here is a search for bliss and harmony and contentment. And in the real world, the way in which you will get that is to actually fight for it. Orange is survival. It's about getting out there and taking a chance, taking a calculated risk in order to show that you are able to overcome whatever crisis, whatever challenge comes your way. Now, in order to be able to manage this, you also need to look at the colors that are missing, because this is a rather interesting journey. So let's have a look at those. There's no black. There's no white or red or yellow. You do have green, you have blue, you have brown, you have orange. There's no grey or purple or pink, but you do have cyan. So basically, these colours here, the ones that are missing, are opportunities for you to change the trajectory of what it is that you're dealing with here in the month of June. These represent skills that you would probably know about and maybe even have practiced in the past, but for some reason they are missing from this particular month. And so it's a good idea to start contemplating just what it is about these that you can add to your repertoire to make changes, because there are other issues rather than just simply wanting to get away and create a new skill, being unable to develop your goals because of your responsibilities, and at the same time feeling stagnant or stuck, whereas in the real world, you could, if you wanted to, show that you can survive whatever those challenges are that are keeping you where you are at the moment. So let's just have a look at these for a moment. If we move the underlying energy, the support energy over here, let's see. We have brown on green, we have blue on brown, and we have orange on cyan. Now, in order to look at what's happening here, we can move the underlying energy across by mixing up the strength and the obstacle that you're dealing with. We can see here that it is possible to take the brown of your skill set that you are able to deal with, and at the same time, that lack of brown, that lack of ability to create proper goals, and we end up with brown on brown. Now, when we have the same color top and bottom in a combination, then we have a certain stuckness that happens. There is an inability to move in any direction other than what this is about. And what this actually represents is a slow, hard slog. Yes, you can obtain your goals. You can do what you are aiming for, even though it seems difficult to decide what it is that you actually are aiming for. Nevertheless, slow and steady, step by step, moving forward, this is steadfastness, this combination, you can actually obtain what you're looking for. Remember that here we have a strength and an obstacle crossed together, still manage to allow you to take that step-by-step movement forward. On the other hand, you could take the blue from the obstacle and add to it the green from the strength, and we end up with blue over green. Here, the restlessness that has caused you to look for a new way of dealing with your life, new goals, new ambitions, just getting away from things, now becomes an ability in the internal world to accept what it is that you need to do. Blue and green together are the Earth Mother. This is, I value what I am able to accomplish. You are, because the green comes from the strength, this means there is a search for new life, a search for new things, but at the same time, it's also a recognition of your own value structure. In the real world, although it's an obstacle to be constantly working hard at whatever it is that is expected from you, nevertheless, you do find yourself being able to feel as though there is a sense of accomplishment. And one of the things that occurs with this Earth Mother activity is that there is a strength here in that you are able to create relationships. Relationships means there are connections. You find yourself creating permanent forms of connection between yourself and those people around you. Now, what happens when we take that and put in the intervening energy? Once again, in order to look at it, we cross over the underlying drivers. And here now, instead of green, the need for new pastures, activating your goals, now we have this sense of connection through bliss, through comfort. You understand, you feel as though things are settled. And that being settled allows you to take goals to steadily move through the various different practical applications of those goals that you need to in order to create more comfort and happiness for yourself internally. As well as this, the driver, the green driver, which says, I need more space, I need to get away, I need to do something different, in the real world comes through as being able to summon the confidence that is necessary in order for you to take not only the risks that are necessary, but they are calculated risks. You know what you're getting yourself into, and you can find yourself moving in a direction that enables you to show everyone that you have what it takes in order to achieve whatever this goal is that you have here as your main activity. On the other hand, we can also cross over, the support activity or the support energy, along with the energy here of the obstacle. And again, we do this by crossing over the energies, the underlying motivators. And now what we find that this inability to create a specific goal now comes through in the real world as virtually attacking any and all goals that are available. It's almost as though there is a desperation here for you to move in whatever direction it is that you want to go in, even though in the real world you could actually be on a bit of a fool's errand. Orange in the real world as part of an obstacle combination is often taking risks that are not as calculated as they should be. At the same time, you also have this opportunity here for this calming effect of I'm happy, I'm content. When it's mixed with an obstacle, it now becomes not just contentment, but it becomes stagnation. You're not moving anywhere very fast. And in the real world, all that duty and responsibility, while there is a sense of pride that comes with, yes, I've managed to do everything that was expected of me, and now I can rest, there's always more work to be done. And so this is a never-ending cycle of get on with the job. So what do we do here in order to support this? Well, we get back to those missing colors. And what do we have here? Well, we have the opportunity to take some time out. Decide that you don't need to be constantly on the run. You don't constantly have to be doing something. Perhaps take time out to meditate. Certainly give yourself a chance to rest. White is the opportunity to deal with whatever novelty comes in your direction. Is there something new? Is there something that is occurring in your life that you haven't experienced before? Well, try and examine it. Look for what it is in there that is a lesson for you to learn. Red is about expending some energy. You may need to take a fairly large risk. You may need to do something impulsive. If so, maybe that's the way that you want to deal with the issues that are facing you in June. Yellow is about learning and memory. What do you remember from the last time you were stuck in these sort of situations? What happened when you last dealt with the same sorts of experiences? Remember them and decide, do you still want to do those same things? Were they lessons that led you somewhere you wanted to go, or were they lessons that held you up? Grey is about finding that middle road between the black and the white, the truth and the lies, between positivity and negativity. All of those things are encompassed within the grey. Can you find the middle road of least amount of discomfort? Purple tells us that there is a lack of power here. Do you need more power? Do you need to be a little more inclined to take on the role of leader rather than a follower? And finally, pink is about vulnerability, but it's also about love. Are you loving and caring enough so that others will reciprocate and love and care for you? The idea, of course, is to look at these and determine which is the most appealing for you, and then which is the least appealing. And when you find those new colors, add them to your repertoire and find that you are going to be somewhere else than where you were intending to go simply through this combination here. Well, I guess that the color reading for this month is one that you can either take as a positive if things are going well for you, but for some of you, it's going to be something that is a bit of a struggle. That struggle continues on from what's been happening during the rest of this year. Let's hope that you can make something positive out of whatever your reading is, and specifically out of the colors that you have chosen to use as your treatment or therapy colors. Having a look at what is available to me this month, looks like it's going to be a repetition of what I had in May, and that wasn't easy to deal with. Still, I'm here, and hopefully I'll be back in July for another set of readings. In the meantime, may the colours of your life bring you all the joy and happiness that you deserve. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.